We've had quite a few schools, organisations, performing arts groups on throughout lockdown and the coronavirus crisis, talking about how they're sort of, I suppose it's not a criticism to say muddling through, because it's the best they can do at the moment. Let's speak to Nicola Carmichael-Phillips, who's the principal and a teacher at Carmichael School of Dance and Theatre Arts, which is based in Telford. They've been extremely busy keeping the school running virtually during the lockdown, but are also running a fundraiser for the Telford charity Mind. And Nicola is on the line now. Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, yeah. So, emerging now from lockdown, are you able to open up as sort of gyms and things do now?
No, we're not going to open till September. Now it's I know gyms are starting to open, but it's the issue of, well, you don't really want to know about it, but it's all the issue of the extra breath and having so many children in the room and bubbles. It's very complicated. So we want to get the initiatives correct. So we're going to be opening in September.
Yes, I would imagine a class full of, 4 or 5-year-olds trying to learn ballet is carnage at the best of times.
Yes, and social distancing is going to be extremely difficult with those little ones, and you've got to have really small numbers. So it's a financial hit on the school as well. So it's just trying to make it work always round. But the main thing is keeping the kids safe.
Talk to me about the school then. How long has it been running? When did it start?
Oh, my goodness. I think it was about 1987, so how many years that is? About 30-odd years. And, built it up to about 350 children. We do everything from little tiny sort of 2-3-year-olds right up to teacher training, A-level, GCSE dance, everything. And, it's just been a challenge moving it all online, but we've done it. And very glad I'm going to have a few weeks holiday in August.
So was this your baby? Have you been running this since the get-go?
Yes. Well, I took over. I was working abroad for a few years when I finished at ballet school and just came back to get some further teaching qualifications, got a part-time job, and then the lady offered me the school. And it was quite small then, and then we just built it up over the last 30 years.
I was going to say, because it seems a very, very competitive field in 2020. What was it like in the 80s, and has it grown as much as it seems to?
I think it's grown in different ways. So there's lots of different genres, much more competition. It's quite Americanized now. Not that we go in for that side of it too much, but from our perspective, really, it's about, although we've got all these children, only a small percentage will go on to be teachers or professional dancers, but the rest of it's about confidence, mental health. It's about their physical welfare. And meeting new friends is a big social circle as well for them, as well as, good for their physicality. Is
that the big thing with dance? It's a combination of keeping you fit, but also must be great if you've got a shy child in terms of bringing them out of their shell.
Absolutely. And I meet, with the school having been run for 30 years, I'll meet people when I'm out shopping or wherever, and, they're in doctors, teachers, all sorts of different fields.
Wow.
So the confidence that it's given them to go into those things, or to stand up and do a presentation, or, to speak to people, it helps in lots of different ways. Even, kids that are dyslexic, kids that are shy, kids that are confident. But it's like any hobby, archery, golf, anything like that. It gives them a sense of self-belief, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you first got the child of somebody you taught as a child, which I imagine you must have by now.
Yes, that started happening.
Is that a bit weird?
It's weird, but it's a real privilege, the fact that they can feel they can bring them back to us and that we'll nurture them, through all those formative years again. So, it's a real privilege, actually. So
what sort of styles do you do then? How wide-ranging is your offering?
Okay, well, we do classical ballet is a good foundation for all the different genres. So that's our main focus. But we've got modern theatre, jazz, tap. We've got contemporary. We do like the academic stuff as well, so they can do GCSE and A-level dance as well. And then we go right up into the vocational levels for going off to university or to ballet school. And teacher training. So we take lots of girls through their teaching qualifications with the Royal Academy and Imperial Society as well.
Wow. So you mentioned a bit about trying to stay away from the sort of the high pressure sort of competition focused sort of Americanized sort of, approach. Yeah. Is it about for you the other side of it then and trying to sort of, I don't know how to put this, but kind of get the qualifications and all the rest of it, but actually pay a bit more attention to the person?
Yeah, it's got to be about the individual, and there's so many facets to teaching. You know, you're looking at their social welfare, their confidence, and you might have a class of 10 children, but they've all got different little problems or different areas of strengths and weaknesses, and you are teaching dance, but you are teaching a little human being as well to become a really nice person, hopefully at the end of the journey, as well as you've got an appreciation of dance, and if they're not going to go on and do it professionally, they're going to be the audiences of the future. So it's quite a responsibility.
I mean, this must keep you up to date with all the latest fads and trends. You must have a very broad knowledge of the K-pop scene and various other things, I would imagine.
Oh, I have to be honest and say not, but that last word you used, there was a girl who had to do a thing for school, and I had to coach her through this thing that I had no idea what it was, but that whatever that word was you just used, yes, it was that.
So when you had to go into lockdown, how big a blow was that for you? Because first and foremost, you are a business as well, and this must have been really bad. Yeah,
it's just like the bottom. It just falls away from you. I mean, it was just horrendous because my husband and I are both in the business, so this is our family's income. We don't have another income. And we also had well over 100 kids expected to do exams, and we could see lockdown coming, so we thankfully begged, borrowed and stealed special cameras from parents and filmed every single exam that was supposed to be taking place. Even the girls doing their GCSEs, we got them in, got all their work videoed and banked it all. So it was very stressful. So by the time we actually closed, we were on our knees.
Yeah.
So we did have a couple of weeks off. Didn't jump straight into the Zoom scene, thankfully. We've done mostly pre-recorded classes. So the children view the pre-recorded class, then they practice, video themselves doing the exercises, send it back, and then we give each child individual feedback.
Okay.
We do a couple of weeks of that, and then the third week, we have a great week of, they can have 5 different genres of workshops, people from the West End, showgirls, all sorts of things. And so they've really broadened their scope of dance by trying out all these different genres and having a fun week before we get back to serious stuff again. And we're just doing a few live Zoom things to finish off the term, and we're finishing first week of August.
Is this something that you can't wait to get away from, or have you learned things over the last 4 months that you think, actually, no, come September, even if we're allowed everyone back in, this is going to be really useful?
Well, to be honest, it's twofold. The first thing is it is not a brilliant medium to teach dance, as I'm sure it's the same for golf and archery, and it is physical or gymnastics. It's really hard to teach that way. But as a teacher, you find different skills to get the message across. So it's been a really good learning experience. And in all honesty, when we open in September, it's not going to go back to how it was. So we're probably going to have half the school in a physical class and the other half will be on our Movite pre-recorded system. And then the next week they'll come and have physical and the other team will be on. So it's going to be like this for quite a while. It's not just going to suddenly go back to normal. And I think it's something we're going to keep with us, to be honest. It's been something we can carry through the holidays, and the kids who are dead keen can continue to train through a holiday. So it's been really good, to be honest. Except I'm a bit poor.
Tell me about the fundraiser then, and why Mind.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we've got some parents in the school who work in the TELFORD Mind Charity, and their funding is completely dried up.
Yeah.
And we were just thinking of ways that we could do things to help them. And I think it's really good for the kids to learn about giving back to society and giving back to the community. Sometimes people who are struggling, and I know a lot of the kids and some of the parents in the school have struggled through this, as I'm sure a lot of people have. And I think there's going to be lots of mental problems for people to deal with, and they're already being swamped, but they've got no money. So in our last week, the one before we break up for the holidays, and I'm going to go and sit in a darkened room for a while, on that week, we've got people coming in to do showgirl workshops. We've hopefully got somebody, which I've got to keep under wraps for a minute, but from a big ballet company coming to do something. Kundalini yoga, Zumba for dads, all sorts of things. But we're going to have also, if the weather holds, a really big picnic afternoon tea out in the park. So for the first time, everybody from the school who wants to come can come and actually dance together physically to finish off the term, but in an outside scenario with loads of space between everybody. People can bring picnic rugs, and we're going to sell cakes, cups of tea, whatever, and just have a little party, but out in the open air where it's nice and safe. And then
brilliant.
hopefully raise lots of money on the Just Giving page for TELFORD Mind.
Where's that going to be?
Well, we're hoping Oakengate Park, but we're still trying to sort it all out. But fingers crossed it will be somewhere in Telford.